Hello, everyone. This is Maysha with As Long as You're Breathing. And I think there's still been a time zone issue, but we're on now. And so, welcome, Michaela, who is the founder of Your Second Soulmate. And I am so glad to have you all the way from the UK. And I don't care what time it is, whoever is watching, welcome, 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 everyone. If you don't have StreamYard enabled in your settings, please do so now so we can see your comments, because Michaela and I want to talk to you. And if you are watching the replay, get in touch with us, because write your comments and get our attention, because we certainly want to answer your questions, whether you're watching replay, watching live. We want to connect. Hello, Michaela.
Oh, hello, Maysha. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so sorry about the time zone mix-up, but it's all good. It's brilliant.
It's me, girl. It's me. I am not good with time zones. My friends, when I'm in the central time zone, even, I mess up just with my Eastern time zone friends. When I mess it up all the time, so it's no problem. As a matter of fact, my very best friend in the world called me a ninny over it, so don't worry.
A ninny, okay.
Ninny, so don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good, girl. I'm just so glad to have you now. And so I know that you have a workshop coming up this weekend. As a matter of fact, I might be participating just a little bit, and I'm so excited about that. Thank you. Yay. But remind everyone just a little bit about having found your second soulmate. You give us just a little bit of background. I know you did Every Life is a Story, but everyone may not have seen that. So just give us just a little bit of background here.
Yeah, sure. So I found myself to be a widow 10 years ago. So pretty much 10 years ago. And I obviously, so I had 2 young children at the time. And once I'd got over the grief, I really knew that my next step, the next part of my healing journey really was to put myself back out and date again. Right. And at the time when I started, I was just dipping my toe in the water, and I was just seeing what was out there. And really, I found it to be a little bit of a jungle, to be completely honest with you, because, I hadn't dated in like nearly 20 years, and I didn't have a clue what I was in for. And I had some pretty hairy experiences. And long story short, I sorted myself out. I got myself really clear on what I really wanted. And I learned how to date in what I call a really savvy way. And that way of dating actually led me to who I now refer to as my second soulmate. And so that was 5 years ago that we met. And we've been happily together in those last 5 years too. So really, that's a very brief version of my story. But really, just to I hope give everybody some inspiration that actually you can put yourself out there, even if I was in a very small community. I didn't really know anybody, and I didn't think there was anybody really out there for me, but I ended up finding the perfect person for me at the time.
Of course you did. Of course, because you found a savvy way to do it. I love that little segue there. And so you founded the company, Your Second Soulmate. Yes. And now I know you're doing it full time now. Right?
Yeah, I certainly am. Yes. So up to now, Maysha, so yeah, you're absolutely right. So I've been helping women, all the way through, really, I would say probably for the last 3 years, kind of, that's when I got really serious about it. But actually, since I was like at school, I was kind of the go-to person to go to with issues, dating related and relationship related, and I love helping. And so far I've been working with clients one-on-one, and helping them on the way. And through the course of that work, I've really established a really clear kind of system that shortcuts so much of the pain and the drama, and just gets everybody really clear. It's the shortest way to kind of fun and easeful dating, which doesn't mean that you have to kind of give your power away, because I'm really there for women feeling like the powerful choosers that they actually are. And this is the thing, you know, we so often we turn up like, you know, being a people pleaser, or, you know, it's like, what did I do wrong? And how can I do that? How can I do this? What do I have to do? And really the short answer is, well, you don't have to do very much. In fact, you don't have to do anything except be really focused and clear on what you want and be your most amazing self. And the rest will happen. You will attract really amazing guys. Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell, the bottom line. So
welcome. We're glad to have you. Please type something over in the chat and let us know who you are. We're so glad to have you. And if you haven't enabled StreamYard in your Facebook settings, please do so that we can see who you are, because we certainly don't want to ignore anyone. Welcome so much. So basically, you came up with a way to quantum leap it all, girl. That's what you did.
No, I mean, I guess so.
That's my phrase. I love to quantum leap everything. You came up with a way. Okay, so this weekend on Friday is the first opportunity, and Saturday is the second opportunity. And we have over in the chat. Let's see. We have it's up the promo for it, but we're going to have it on the Facebook page too. We will have it's in the private chat is where it's at, but we will have it up on we have somebody else joining us too. Thank you so much. Do enable yourself in StreamYard in our Facebook settings, so we can see who you are, and put your information there in the chat for us, so we can. Oh, we have a comment. Here we go. It's Sherry, our biggest fan. There we go.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Yeah, we do have the ad for it, and we will put the ad up on the Facebook page and be advertising for it. But on Friday is the first opportunity, and the second opportunity is Saturday, and we want everyone to attend. But what can everyone expect? Let's talk about the workshop.
Yeah, let's talk about the workshop. So really, there's a few things. So as I just mentioned before, through working with the one-to-one clients, I've developed a system of dating which is called Savvy. So the Savvy dating system. And what you can expect is three really foundational pieces of this whole system.
Okay.
And the workshop is called Find the Right Guy.
Find the right guy.
Yeah.
Find the right guy.
Yeah, because it's like for a lot of people, the whole idea of dating is like finding the one. But to be honest, it's not. There isn't just one. There's many. But oftentimes we don't see that there are that many people that actually we could date for a number of reasons. And one of those really big reasons is that we're really not clear. We are not clear on what it is that we really, really want. What we want in a partner, what we need in order to feel happy in a relationship. So the first part of the workshop will be really getting focused and clear on what are your non-negotiables. What are those things actually that you are not prepared to do without in your next partner, in your next relationship? And, so it's really to bring about that, to get so clear, because once you're clear, that is really the prerequisite for actually calling in, for manifesting that person that you want. You can't, if you're so focused in, what you don't want, or, the whole load of other beliefs, nothing is going to shift, nothing is going to move. So this is going to actually be the first step in quite a transformational process, actually. So the first bit is really about getting clear on your intentions. And
it sounds like shifting from not thinking in terms of the negative, not thinking in terms of I don't want this again and I don't want that again, and just thinking in terms of I do want this and I do want that. So thinking in terms of the positive.
Exactly.
And I think we can think in terms of the positive when we are those positive things ourselves.
Yeah, totally. And the law of attraction works whether you like it or not. So whether you're attracting something,
whether you believe it or not, we attract what we are. Yes.
Yeah. And I think, that's kind of one of the reasons why people end up in the same kind of relationships again and again, or they end up attracting the same sort of person again and again. They just have a different face, they are literally the same thing. And you end up and you think, why? How have I ended up here again? This is exactly what I didn't want.
Right. Yeah. And thus we're thinking again in the terms of what I don't want. Yes. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. If you've not enabled StreamYard in your settings on Facebook, please do so you can post and we can see your comments and you can let us know who you are. And if you have any questions for Michaela, I know she would love to answer them. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. All right, Michaela. Yes, go on. So step one is find the one.
Yeah.
So same path, hit the same tree, Sherry says.
Yeah. So step one. I love it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So just get clear on what you want. So set those intentions, and so which goes back a little bit to what you were talking about just before. So step two is really tackling what are some of those core beliefs that are holding you back from actually moving forwards? Because oftentimes we don't even realize that we have these things that we believe. But, it's like, well, they are actually the reason why you're not able to move forward, why you're stuck, why you're holding yourself back. And
I love that you said that. You're holding yourself back because we don't want to think in those terms, but it's usually the man in the mirror. Usually the man in the mirror is why we can't find the man.
Brilliant. I love it. And, and it's just really sort of getting clear on what the truth actually is behind that. And I recorded and I sent out to some people on my email list a series of videos that tackled some of those key myths anyway, and just sort of turned them around, started the process of turning them around so that they could really get clear on what is the truth behind it. How true is it that there are no good guys? How true is it that I only attract emotionally unavailable men? Well, maybe part of the truth might be that actually there's something that's emotionally unavailable about you yourself.
Oh, no, you did not say that. You did not go there. Ouch.
Yeah, well, I've been there, Maysha. I've totally been there.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both. And not even realized it because I'm like the girliest girl there is, okay? Hopeless, romantic, girly girl. What do you mean emotionally not available? I cried with the Kool-Aid guy. You remember the Kool-Aid guy commercial, where he's, he got upset, and I cried over that, and so what do you mean emotionally unavailable? But you talk about walled up and protected and
But for good reason. I mean, we do. We develop them because it's our brains just keeping us safe.
Keep our brains keeping us safe. Oh, girl, go into the choir now. You are so dead on there. Absolutely, it is what we create ourselves. Of course, we don't realize it It is the brain protecting. Is the brain protecting? It thinks the heart.
Yeah.
When the heart knows the story. So yeah. Oh, yeah. girl, you are so on target. I just love you.
Oh, well, it's mutual, Maysha.
I know. All right. Keep going, girl.
Yeah. So really, once we've got clear about the direction and what we want to call in, when we've thought about the things that are maybe holding us back, then the third part of the workshop, because obviously I can't sort of do everything in the session. I love that, Sherry. Truth.
I think that's our amen corner there.
Yeah. So after we've done those first two things, then the third bit. So the third hurdle that a lot of women, once they get online, they come across is like, well, how do I know which are the good guys? How can I tell which of these guys, that are messaging me online, or that when I do a search and I'm seeing these profiles, how do I actually know which are the ones that are going to be right for me? So we'll have a little bit of some kind of fun practice, looking at some different profiles and actually drawing out and spotting what are the clues. How can we find those clues, and how can we decide actually if that person is aligned to our actual intention and our vision, so that we can actually, feel like confident in moving forward with that. Yeah.
And if we're aligned with ourselves, then we're going to find the person that we are in alignment with. And when I messed up our time, I talked about unconditional love, and I said the way we find that is first we have to be in alignment with self. And again, because unconditional love is, we can't give that until we're in alignment with self. And so I'm not going to get into my spiel, but what you said about alignment is how we do it. It's how we do all of this, being in alignment. It is about alignment. It is alignment.
Yeah, totally. And actually that's that is definitely part of the system. That's part of my system. So just to sort of clarify that the letters of savvy, each of those is one of the key parts of the way to get to that space where you are dating in a very savvy way. So yeah.
We should have just had her on with us,
I think so. Yeah.
We should have just had her with us. Love you, Sherry. I'm so glad she's here with us. I'm so glad. Okay, so the S is. Are you prepared to? Are you prepared to? I don't want to put you in the spot because I forget acronyms. I'm just going to tell you now. I can make them up, and then I'm like, I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. I figured you did. That's me.
Okay, so the S, that's like the first step that we're going to do. We're going to set our intentions.
Okay.
So that we're really clear and focused. The A is align your beliefs with your desires. So making sure that your beliefs are all coming in check with what you actually want, and nothing is going to be holding you back from there. Then we've got 2 V's in Savvy. So the first V is all about getting you to vibrate at your highest level. So, and this is where the quantum bit maybe might come in, because and looking into all the pieces of that. So, loving yourself, finding that kind of that authentic, unique, amazing part of you that you actually want to fall in love with, and you want to date yourself first. Because I think a lot of women come to dating, or, from a place of lack, from a place of wanting to fill a gap in their lives. They're lonely, and actually that's not gonna attract the best sort of partner for you. You're going to meet somebody who is down here at your level of vibration. So if you want to find that partner who's up here for you, that you've been visioning, you've got to up-level yourself in a whole load of ways. And the energetic match and the attraction will be there from the get-go. once you get to that stage. So that's the first V. The second V, so SAVV, is you really want to now vitalize all those yummy dating skills. So
yummy,
a lot of people,
yummy dating skills. I love it. Yummy dating skills.
Yummy. How are you going to flirt? Can you, flirt, text, communicate? How are you going to handle like multiple men, like dating, getting to know them, rotating so that you can really show up as the chooser? How are you going to discern and really get to know spot on which are the good guys? What are those red flags and all of that as you're going through this? And then the last step, the why, is just yielding to the process, letting go.
Process.
Yeah. Being in your feminine energy, building that emotional attraction and connection so that you can really set the pace in the relationship and take it to the level that you want to take it to. And that altogether makes the savvy dating system. Yeah. So those but obviously we won't be able to do all of it in the 90-minute workshop. There will be some key parts taken out of it there. But I think, even those 3 key parts will be very transformational and create shifts and be really useful, especially, if you're somebody who isn't sure if you're ready to date again, then it's great to come along and have this experience. I can hear the thunder.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. Talk about if you're not sure if you're ready to date again. Yeah, there's the sign right there.
There we go. You're ready.
Thunder roared.
Yeah. Or if you're somebody who has been thinking about dating and wanting to do it for a while, but really not sure about how to get started, then this would be a great place to begin. And even if you're somebody who has been dating for a while, but you're not finding the quality men, you're stuck, or you just want to give up because you've had enough, or maybe you've been dating and you've had enough. So all of those different categories, this would be a really ideal opportunity just to reframe, just to really reset yourself and get yourself into that space where you're feeling a lot more confident and comfortable with the idea of dating. Yeah. So,
and I think probably a lot of people who are, for whatever reason, re-entering this or in this process or whatever, probably need that what you just said. That's probably there are probably a huge amount of people who just need that reset of, okay, I've been at this a while, or I'm just getting started or whatever. And I just need to get comfortable with the whole notion of it. I just need to reset myself and, okay, I can do this. I can do this, because until we believe that, so we've got to have that piece. We've got to have that. I can do this. This is doable. This isn't something I can't do. We do have to believe that, because if we go into it not believing that it's doable, well, that's what we're putting out.
Yeah,
we're putting out. And I know for a fact, I can guarantee you this. I have gone to restaurants now and clubs now, and I've gone to places now sitting there with, it's not doable on purpose. It's not doable. It's not doable. Doing my darndest to put out. It's not doable. And you do that when that's what we do. And so when we do that, that's what we put out. It's not doable. And so we can't do that. We have to go, if we want relationship, we have to go out there with, I want relationship. And we can't have it both ways. We can't say we want relationship, but be putting out, I don't want relationship.
Well, it's back to that law of attraction and the universe giving you what you're asking for. So if you're telling the universe that you can't do it, then that's what you're going to see. You're going to see evidence of that. everywhere. You're going to find the people that, you know, are just not desirable to you. You're not going to be able to see actually the people out there, even if they're like right in your face saying, here I am. You know, it's just not going to be possible. You won't see them. It's yeah, it's incredible, but that's how it works. It is just how it works. Yeah.
Right. They can be right in your face and you don't see them. You're right. You know, they can be throwing themselves at you and you don't see if that's not what you don't. Law of attraction is something that a lot of people hear that so much, and it's equated with money so much too now. We've gotten to the point where when we talk about manifesting things now, because you mentioned it in terms of relationships, and so many people now don't even think of the term manifesting in terms of relationship. As a matter of fact, there's just a couple weeks ago, my favorite yogi has this manifesting your soulmate that he came out with just a couple weeks ago that you listen to. It's like over an hour long. You listen to it as you're falling asleep. And it popped up on my YouTube meditation list. And I'm like, what in the world, you know? But so many people, you say manifest, and they automatically think of money or a job or something like that. But when you talk about relationship, people don't think of it in that terms, you know, in that mindset. So I love that you talk about manifesting a relationship. That's a little different too. People don't necessarily think of that.
Yeah, absolutely, Maysha. And you know, I think it's one of those. I think you're absolutely right. And I think people do tend to think of manifesting in terms of money, but when it comes down to it, all a manifestation is that you are sending out an energetic request. It's just energy. And so in terms of that person who corresponds exactly to what you're sending out, and as you're vibrating, there's absolutely and I firmly believe that there's no way that you can, when you reach that level of being able to vibrate at that highest level,
yes,
you cannot stop your soulmate from being attracted to you, of coming to you, and they, in any shape or form. I mean, you know, even in the most unlikely situations, you know, that's the thing. It's beautiful, and I think it's actually probably the most sincere form of the law of attraction as well. You know?
I think so too. I think so too. And it's the most maybe the best use of it.
Yeah.
I think it is the best use of it, because then all the other uses of it, they just fall into place. You know, the law of attraction, when we are in our highest vibration anyway, we don't, and my favorite yogi teaches this, by the way, we don't have to really do the law of attraction. When we're in our vibrational alignment, everything we're supposed to have comes to us anyway, including this soulmate that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So all of that, because he was like, how do you quantum leap the law of attraction? Or how do you not have to worry about the law of attraction? Well, just keep yourself in vibrational alignment. Work on you being in vibrational alignment.
Yes.
So do that. Get yourself where you belong. Get yourself where you belong. Be in vibrational alignment. And then that soulmate will come to you. And the other things that belong in your life will come to you. But the best part is that part, because then the two of you in alignment together, all the things that you're supposed to have will come to you. And then it's just, then you're building this beautiful life. Yes. And that doesn't mean, but having a soulmate, of course, doesn't mean that that you don't have your own self either. You don't lose yourself because of that. So, you know, I'm not saying that, but that is the best part of the law of attraction, I think, is
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you've nailed you've absolutely nailed it, Maysha. And the problem is that I think most people, they want to have you know, they want to have tactics to get the guy, They want to know, what should I text him so that he X, Y, and Z, or how do I get him back, or he's broken up with me, I want him back. And it's like, you don't have to worry about any of those things,
Right.
really and truly. And as you say, once you've really conquered staying in your alignment, so that you are you're going to be vibrating so that you are attracting exactly what it is that you've actually asked for. So 100%.
Who wants to have a tactic to get the guy? I mean, if you have to have a tactic to get the guy, you're going to have tactics to keep the guy.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm serious. I mean, no, seriously. If it takes a tactic to get the guy, then the whole relationship from then on out, because I'm assuming if you're wanting to get the guy, you're wanting to keep the guy. The rest of your life is, how do I keep the guy? So you want to be you. You want to live as you.
Yes.
So you want to get the guy by being you. So that's what you want to do, is you want to figure out who you are, and you want to live authentically as you, and you want that person living authentically as who they are.
Yeah.
And you want to be attracted to one another, and you want the law of attraction to work, because you're both being authentic. Male or female, you're both being authentic, and you're in vibrational alignment with one another, and you're attracted to one another, and that's how you come together. And then there's none of this. There's no tactics. There's no, and then of course, then you remain authentic, and then we're getting into a whole. But you don't want a tactic. I mean, if you have to have a tactic to get them, you're going to have tactics to keep them. And I don't know about you, but that's
hard work.
That's hard work. And
that is definitely hard work.
Yeah, and there's nothing pleasurable or well, what's good about that? What's good and true and honest and sincere? And I mean, where's the joy of that? Where's the part here that feels good about that? That just starts feeling, It's
the wrong energy. 100%.
It's the wrong energy. Yes.
So quickly you're going to end up manifesting a whole load of stuff that you really don't want. And so and I think the other part of it is so many, as I mentioned before, with so many women wanting to please a man and wanting to be a somebody who really is caring and nurturing, and very often might end up in relationships with men who will sort of just take that for granted.
Yes. Yes. Because I am caring and nurturing, and I want to be those things, because that is how I express love, is I'm caring and I'm nurturing, but I want to be those things, but I don't want them taken for granted. I want them appreciated,
Yeah.
If they're not appreciated.
Yeah. And this is the thing, and I think the savvy way is to really be conscious and really be aware of your feelings throughout all of this. Yes. And the moment that you sense that that's it's almost like you look out for, you're conscious and you're aware of these little signs, and the first moments where you start to feel in your intuition, so really checking in with that area of knowing that I'm being taken for granted here. And that's when you in this whole in this system, you take 2 steps back and you focus on yourself, and you get yourself in alignment. And for whatever reason, that is your sign for whether the guy is going to take a step closer to kind of reclaim you, and like, oh my gosh, he stepped out of line. You don't have to do anything except, this is what I'm saying, except be that amazing aligned self that you are, who is loving and who You don't have to be bitter. You don't have to give him the cold treatment. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to nag. You don't have to say, you don't do this for me. You don't bring me. There's nothing to do like that. And guess what? This is like magic. This works like magic for a man, because naturally a man is wired to really to protect, to want to make a woman happy. Like that's his emotional outlet is through a woman, because he's been conditioned to never really want to or be able free enough to express his emotions, except when he feels safe and he's in an intimate partnership with a woman. Then he can really let that side of him show. So it's a kind of it's almost like this system is really a protection against being taken for granted, giving away your power, and really feeling confident so that you can show up in that magnificence that is actually within you. So finding that magnificence and then showing up in that energy so that you are like, basically the man that claims you is going to be the most adoring man ever. And it will just flow from there, really.
But whenever you know yourself and respect yourself that way, and you step back and take care of yourself that way, because you are in alignment with self that way, and you unconditionally love yourself that way, because that's what you're talking about, you're also going to recognize that in your partner who does the same thing. So instead of having to have this conflict, or as you say, bitchiness, or or nagging or whatever, the two of you are going to recognize that language in each other. So it's going to work for the male too. It's going to work both ways. It works both ways. So because I know divine feminine, divine masculine, we communicate differently, but when you're in alignment, you're in alignment. And that's what alignment is stepping into self-care mode. That's how we stay in alignment. So if as a whole complete person, when you step into self-care mode, which is not selfishness, it's just staying in alignment, you're going to recognize when the other person has too. And that's going to be your cues to each other,
Sure.
And so that's how relationships will stay healthy. And so it's just such a beautiful system you have here. I'm just so excited about it. This workshop's going to be amazing, and then it's going to lead to bigger and better and greater things.
Well, I'm just really pleased that to be able to share this and just get this message out there, because I see so many women who they're stuck, they're complaining. It's like, how, I can't do this. And so, if this can help in any way, I mean, these actionable steps that you're going to walk away with, this clarity, I think will be enough to get, to kickstart you and help you begin that journey if you've been thinking about it, or at least enough to get you unstuck and show you the direction that you need to be going in. Yeah.
Well, I grew up singing and playing country music, and I'm not putting country music down. It's in all genres, actually, because I'd listen to all music so I don't get locked into a rut because I write still. And if you just listen to one genre, everything starts sounding the same. So I listen to all of it. But my favorite of all time is Lynn Anderson. And so, but I've been listening because I write, as you know. And when I went back and listened to some old stuff, to the stuff I listened to as a little girl, I could see how I got so out of alignment. I grew up singing and playing music that taught me that women were victims, that men were going to do us wrong, that love was going to go bad, but also a lot of the songs were vice versa. That men were victims and that all women were going to do them wrong, so it was both ways,
Yeah.
But invariably love was not going to last, it was going to turn out bad. There were very few songs about it being good, you know.
Yeah.
And so when I listen to that, and even now, what little I listen to, we got a heart from somebody there. Somebody's like, yes, yes. What I listen to very little new music, but I do listen to some Broadway stuff. And I caught a song, and I'm sure it wasn't new, but I caught a song coming up here, "Only Us." And it was about, it was a song about what if there's only us, and what if we just forget all of that stuff, and what if, it's talking about what if I see only you and you see only me, and what if we can just forget all of that? And I'm like, and this is why I love Broadway, because it's always building toward, it's always building toward happy endings. I'm like, this is why I love Broadway, because they're always writing toward, okay, there's going to be some sad, sappy ones, but there's always going to be building toward, so. And that's why I love musicals, because the songs always they were always building toward, the happy ending stuff. And so I can remember as a little girl being drawn to musicals and thinking, I like these so much better than the stuff I sing. I want to be in musicals. I want to write musicals. And I can remember that thinking, as much as I love what I'm being raised to sing, I like this for some reason. So this was the epiphany I had coming up here, is why I was drawn toward this, because they're moving toward happy endings. And the stuff I grew up playing and singing, there was an occasional happy ending song, but for the most part, no. For the most part, it was, yep, I've been done wrong again. Oh. So, but we have been all genres of music. We listen to them and we're like, oh man, I love that song. And I'm like, no, don't listen to that. It's conditioned you to believe that that's how it is supposed to be. And we propagate this with, I go out and I listen to this. This is, I'm a big blues fan, and I love, one of my best friend in the world he is a blues artist, but you listen to this stuff and it is so much of it is about, I'm so glad that a lot of his music now is not that. It's about, it's about happier stuff. And I'm glad. But a lot of other artists are doing that too. It's more optimistic music. And I'm glad we're doing that, because we're programming ourselves to believe that relationships are supposed to be bad. And we need to be programming ourselves to believe they're supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Sherry is like,
amen. Yeah.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's saying, because we need to be telling ourselves the right stories. Music, movies, all of these things that we're watching. I don't turn on the television and stuff for this reason, because it puts the negative stuff in the room and all of that. So be aware of what we're putting into our lives. I grew up reading heartbreaking romances. The first part of them were, oh my God, you had to have your heart broken 14 times before you could get to one good kiss at the end. And then they always ended it there. You never really knew, did they really live happily ever after?
No, exactly.
And the next book that the girl wrote was not a continuation of that, and so she was writing another heartbreak. So obviously nobody lived happily ever after.
But guess where that leads us? It leads us to that belief that, we want the drama. We want the
drama.
We think that that's what it's all about. We think that, it's, unless that drama's there, then, it's just too boring. And, who wants a Mr. Nice Guy anyway? And, but that drama, as Dr. Phil would say, well, how's that working out for you? If at the end of the day, it is just leading to pain and hurt and just damage, how is that working out for you? Yeah.
And then our minds, that's what our minds know. And so that's what our minds go to when it's trying to protect us from where the heart's taking us to. Our mind goes to, what I know is that's going to be drama. Because that's what we put in our minds.
Yeah.
So it's trying to take us down a path of, hey, let's go find happiness. This looks like it's going to be that over there. And the mind is saying, we've tried that before. And that is drama, drama, drama. Don't want to do that. And so, So tell us more. So you told us about the components of the workshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, I think what the difference is, I think, about the system is that it really does just take the, it sort of breaks it down. It makes it very streamlined, this whole process of dating and getting yourself back out there. and just makes, just, waste time. Because I think this is the thing I hear so much. It's like, oh, this is such a time suck for me. I'm not getting anywhere. I've been on Match for like 5 months and nothing's, I can't find any good men, and there's no one here for me, like no one. And it's like, well, if that's really what's the thing, like the cause and effect thing. So you're being at effect, you're blaming online dating, you're blaming men, but actually, where is the responsibility for that? If you're not seeing the men, if you're not finding them, well, that's really a sign that there's some part of responsibility to take that right there and see how you're at cause. And I think that's really the first step. And so that this workshop will be a little bit of awareness raising in a really safe space. And I forgot to mention that there's also, so I am going to record the workshop. So in case there are any, if the times don't work for you, and I know it's kind of a bit late notice and you may have things happening on Friday or Saturday already, that's absolutely fine. But I would ask you, encourage you to register anyway. And what you'll get is a recording and the workbook. What you won't get is the extra time afterwards, which is the live Q&A. So that's really the bonus if you turn up. And that's really like an ask me anything at all about what's getting you stuck about dating. And I think that could be really, really helpful for people who, and that bit won't be recorded, obviously. So that will be totally, just for the people who are on the call.
And you're a wealth of knowledge. That's invaluable. That's invaluable. People need to show up for that alone. I really want to encourage people who are watching to show up for that, because I know from talking to you, your wealth of knowledge. So the fact that you're going to do that for those who show up and are there. And of course, I know people appreciate that you're not recording that part, that they're going to ask you their questions and you're going to turn record off. I know they're going to appreciate that. So that is invaluable. So that's amazing and very generous of you too. So that is a wonderful thing that you're going to do. So they get the Michaela Lambert Second Soulmate expertise after the workshop. That is amazing. So
awesome. So so I would absolutely love to invite anybody who is watching this or watching the replay. There will be a link. There'll be a post actually just underneath this video that Maysha will kindly put up with the link to register. And it's a free workshop, a 90-minute workshop with bonus question and answer live coaching at the end. Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully see lots of you there.
Yes, I hope so. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And because of this, because I'm walking around in the treetops and that kind of thing this week and making these allergies worse, we're going to play a recording of a song that I wrote that's kind of about, the dating world. I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of outing myself here with about my music background and how it can be kind of about the negative aspect of it, but that's okay because I'm learning and growing and evolving myself, and so the songs are just going to get better and better and happier, and I'm growing myself, and that's what we all have to do, is discover in ourselves those things that keep us. Because we're always a work in progress. No, we're not saying that you have to be in perfect vibrational alignment to find the right person, because nobody ever is. And once we get in alignment, it is a work in progress to stay in alignment.
Absolutely. And I thank you for mentioning that, actually, Maysha, because I get a lot of questions from people who, who say, I'm not sure if I'm really ready to put myself out there. I'm not sure if I'm really ready to date, and it could be for really valid reasons as well. And I remember, when I lost George, my first soulmate, and I didn't feel ready. I really didn't, because I was grieving, for a good year or so at least. But I got to the second year and I was like, well, do you know what? I'm just gonna have a go. I'm just gonna dip my toe in. And it was actually through the process of dating that was a huge part of my healing process of myself, and my journey for just discovering who I was again. Because I think I changed so much, and I think we do change so much in the course of a relationship. I wasn't the same person that I was when I was dating, back in the day. And I realized, I realized that at the beginning, I was really dating still like a teenager. I was still viewing all these men online and thinking, oh, they seem so old. And I hadn't really recalibrated myself to the fact that I wasn't really aware within myself who I was and what I wanted. So all of these things really had to, but just to say that, as you just mentioned, you don't have to be that sort of 100% finished kind of product. I don't think we ever essentially really get
we
there.
aren't. Yes, right.
Always evolving, constantly evolving. And you don't have to, and I speak to a lot of women who say, oh, yeah, I'd love to date, but first I need to lose 20 pounds.
No.
Yeah, but first I need to, no, because actually, even if you got there, how long are you going to wait? How much longer are you going to wait?
What's going to be the next excuse?
Yes, but there will always be another excuse. And, there is, and you will know this saying, it's a Southern saying, there's a lid for every pot. There is somebody.
Yes.
There's somebody for everybody. And it's almost like you're depriving yourself of so much joy, so much happiness, and what could be, because you're so held back by the what ifs. What if this happens or that happens, or if I get hurt again, or all those other things. And so much of that we can just release, we can just let it go. Yes. And it doesn't have to be like that. Nothing has to be like that. It can be amazing, because if you can conceive it, then it can happen for you.
If definitely. You can conceive it, if you will let the heart conceive it. Mm-hmm. Vibrational alignment is something that, yes, we have to get ourselves into. But the thing of it is, it's not static. It's dynamic. So, yeah, you get yourself into it to attract the person. But just like, I said, you don't want a tactic to find a person. Well, once you get into vibrational alignment for anything, a job, a friendship, anything, your vibrational alignment is something you have to maintain always anyway. Yeah. So for you to say, well, I've got to get myself ready for what? Ready to be you.
Yeah.
Ready to be you. And being you is a lifelong process. Mm-hmm. So what you're ready for is to understand, I'm getting ready to be in relationship. I'm getting ready to show up as me and say, this is me. This is what you can expect from me. And to attract someone else who is doing the same thing, and who's in alignment with that. And to take responsibility, personal responsibility, for just staying communicative and authentic and in alignment. And then that will flow. Now, is it going to flow perfectly all the time? No, but that's life. That's life. Yeah. But you can't wait for perfection, or you will never, because a watched pot doesn't boil. So another Southern saying, if you're sitting there waiting for that pot to boil, then that's never going to happen. So you have to move, you have to act, or it's not going to happen. And you can't wait for perfection. You can't wait for perfection, because it's not going to happen. And once you achieve whatever you think perfection is, you're not going to stay that way. And if you do stay that way, there's something wrong.
Then you've just stopped evolving.
You stopped. That's right. Because you're going to look at what you thought perfection was, and you're going to look around at the world, and the world has moved on, and that's not perfection anymore. and you're a relic. You're a relic. You're going to be like looking like disco, and it's moved on to whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I love disco, so I'm not putting disco down. You know that you get the analogy. You know, so we can't do that. So we have to. Okay, now we can be so broken sometimes that we have to fix ourselves. I'm not saying that. You know, like you lost a husband. You had to get over that to a certain degree, of course. So there are things that happen to us that we have to heal from to a certain degree. So there is that always, you know, I mean, those things can happen. But then there does come a point where we have to recognize, okay, I am there. I am at that point. Mm-hmm. But looking for perfection, or that's a myth. That is truly a myth.
That really is a myth. Yeah.
Don't expect that you're going to get to this point and you're going to get there and you're going to find the perfect relationship and okay, we're there now. No, because that's going to be ongoing, and that's going to be more soulmate stuff.
That's the next journey. Yeah, that is the journey, isn't it?
That's the next journey. But that's the best part. I mean, okay, you're together now. So now let's do this part. Let's do the life part. Let's do the living part. As long as we're breathing, let's do the living part now. Let's do the living part now. We got there. Let's live now.
Yeah. And it's so true. And you know, that whole, I think for Steve, so my husband Steve is a widower. He lost his wife to cancer, you know, so he knows and he understands. So, and we feel like we're both together. And the fact that we're both together we honestly feel, because the likelihood of us two actually meeting each other, and, you know, he's, I mean, on paper, can I just say, like, on paper, if he'd listed out who he was, like, on paper, I mean, he's so not my type. You know, he's if I say these things, right? So civil servant. So he like is an office work, a civil servant. He loves sci-fi, Star Trek. He loves like trains, like old-fashioned steam trains, models, you know, like model railways and things. And it's like, so hang on, I got a train spotting Star Trekky civil servant. And it's like, yeah, but actually we get each other. This is the thing. Totally get it. We're on the same team. And on
the same team. I love that. Yeah. We're on the same team.
Totally on the same team. And you know, it's almost like I know that there were some divine interventions that got us together. I absolutely.
Thank God for divine intervention.
Yeah. For one, I totally ignored his messages to me for a long time. I don't know what it was that made me go back through like 3 pages of messages where he'd sent me like 5 messages and just hadn't. And I just sort of was like, oh, okay, who's that? And something spoke to me in the profile and we got chatting. But I just think, you know, we actually met. And when we got married, I was totally obsessed with eucalyptus trees. Now, eucalyptus trees do not grow in the UK. They're very rare, but okay. I love them. I love them in flowers, and I wanted just a eucalyptus wedding. So anytime we would go for our walks, I'd always look out for eucalyptus trees, because I was like, I'm going to just ask them, knock on their door and say, can I have a branch of your eucalyptus tree so that I can have it at my wedding and, you know, use it for decorations. Anyway, long story short, we realized that our first date where we met was in a park. We literally met under a eucalyptus tree. I had no idea, but I didn't even know it was a eucalyptus tree when we met, because I wasn't obsessed with it. It was only when we were getting married, like 2.5 years later. But when we went back, because every year we go back and we recreate the same date. And I'm looking like, do you realize we actually met under a eucalyptus tree? That's just the weirdest thing. But anyway, lots of little things and signs and numbers and special things like that. So I think at the end of it, you know, you can say lots of things, and you can say, oh, you know, these are all just coincidences and these are just, but I think they're signs. I believe they're signs, and I believe that that's, you know, what kind of makes me believe that actually we were we were totally meant to be together. So
Yeah.
And I think it's great when you can find those sort of things.
I do too. I do too. The synchronicities and yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a believer too, because it really is about getting ourselves in alignment and letting the law of attraction work. And then I do believe that happiness exists and is real, and we're meant to have it. I believe those things. I feel the magic, and I believe.
Me too, Maysha. Me too.
You too.
Amazing. Oh.
All right, girl. Well, I'm going to put the information about the workshop up, and I will keep it up at the top of my feed for the rest of the week. Even though I'm on vacation, I'm going to do that.
Oh, I appreciate you, Maysha. Thank you.
Yes, I will do that. And thank you so much. I always enjoy talking with you so much. And I'm sorry about the time snafus. Yes. Happiness exists, and we are meant to have it. And we love you too, girl.
100%.
Yes. And I think this is a good way to end the show, the three of us here together. So thank you, Sherry, for sticking with us through the whole thing. Thank you, Michaela, for being here. Thank you, all of you who kept popping in and out. And for everyone here, you know what? As long as you're breathing, make the goal to be in alignment with self, so all your relationships can be all they're meant to be. And as long as you're breathing, you can be all you're meant to be, and keep living. Bye, y'all.
Beautiful.